Hello there, friends, and welcome to the channel, the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time reviewing fiction of all sorts. We have a look at fiction novels, we have a look at fiction movies, fiction video games, and we have a look at the fantasy implementation of all these fictional characters, places, items, and the like in the game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today, we're going to be analyzing a mechanic within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition itself. We're going to have a look at the Barbarian character. Specifically, we're going to be having a look at the subclass Barbarian Berserker. This is a barbarian that feels the primal rage and uses it to enhance all of the possible powerful things that barbarians can do. We're going to look at a few of the skills that the Berserker Barbarian has and how it enhances the barbarian as a whole. Barbarians get their skills at 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 14th level, and we're going to discuss each one of those right now. At 3rd level, the barbarian gains the Frenzy power. The Frenzy power means that when a barbarian goes into their classic rage, they can choose to also go into a frenzy. This means they can make an extra melee attack as a bonus action, giving them twice as much strength in the fight. However, this does have a downside. When they go into the frenzy, it means that at the end of their rage, they'll gain a level of exhaustion. Too many of those, and they'll start to get weaker, both in their attacks, their ability checks, and eventually in their health as well. At 6th level, the Berserker Barbarian gains the Mindless Rage power. This means they cannot be charmed or frightened while they are raging. It also means that any charm or fear effects that are affecting them when they go into their rage become suppressed. This can be very, very helpful when they are against characters that have a little more of a cerebral power over them. The rage just overcomes all of that. At the level 10, they gain the Intimidating Presence power. This means they can use their action to frighten creatures within 30 feet of them. The creatures have to make a wisdom saving throw, and if they fail, they become frightened. The barbarian can continue to use their action to maintain this fear, and the creatures have no chance of another saving throw until the barbarian lets the Intimidating Presence go. This can be a real good Hail Mary if you're starting to lose a fight and you need your enemies to run away from you rather than kill you. At level 14, barbarians gain the Retaliation power. This means that they can, as a reaction, make a melee attack against anyone who hits them within 5 feet. Again, adding to the strength of the Berserker, allowing them to fight back against anyone who is beating them. So, all of these powers the Berserker has, I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. The Frenzy power is a phenomenal addition to the Barbarian, but the problem is that exhaustion. It really wears down on you fast, especially if you plan on going into a rage every combat, as a long rest can only get rid of 1 level of exhaustion at a time. Therefore, I give the Frenzy power a 7 out of 10. The Mindless Rage is a great self-buff to keep you protected from charm and fear. Loads of enemies in the game can charm and frighten their enemies, and hopefully the Barbarian can be a great standpoint against them as a Berserker. I give this an 8 out of 10. Now, the Intimidating Presence is a bit of a tricky one. It is a great Hail Mary if the fight is being lost and you need to push away enemies with fear, but the real problem is that it takes your action to use, and then it takes your action to maintain. This means that you're not going to be able to fight back against the enemies that succeeded on that saving throw and aren't running away. This means that while the power is not useless, it is very, very hard to use, and I give it a 3 out of 10. Finally, the retaliation power. An extra attack is never a bad thing, and weaponizing your reaction is always helpful, especially when you're going up against an enemy in a good old-fashioned knockdown brawl. I give this another 7 out of 10. In total, the Berserker Barbarian is a decent addition to the Barbarian class list, and I give it a good solid 6 out of 10. Not the highest level that you'll see, but definitely not the worst. And as far as barbarians go, you could definitely do worse. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me talk about the Berserker Barbarian. Feel free to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Anytime you want to hear more about Dungeons & Dragons or anything in the fantasy world, come and listen to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Have a good one, everyone.